Hello and welcome to the latest edition of MusicSceneSD TV, the show where we take a look at San Diego's burgeoning music scene. It's brought to you by Concerts.cafe and Local Umbrella Media, who takes care of the print side of things. This is a very, very special episode. I want to point that out to you right from the beginning, and it's going to be dedicated to, yes, none other than Staring at the Sun, Volume 13. This is a brand new compilation album dedicated to local bands in San Diego. We're going to be having a CD release show, free CD release show, mind you, at the Casbah on September 30th, and you'll get a free copy of this wonderful, wonderful album. Who's on it, you ask? Well, let me tell you. We've got the Monroes, we've got the Naked Eye, we've got Cambrian Shores, Tamar Berk, Ariel Levine, Electric Mud, Mittens, Skylar Lutz, Evan Diamond, Patrick Yandel, the Tourmaliners, the Sleepwalkers, Spiritual Motels, Wayne Riker, and much, much more. Additionally, we're going to have another guest performer in a surprise skit. We can't give away everything just quite yet, but this gentleman will be on horns there. So if you see him heading towards the stage with a horn, you don't want to miss out because it's going to be a laugh riot and then some. Why don't you come over here, Billy, and say hello? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Billy Tish of the Footloose Band, True Stories, and oh so much more. Now, also, we wanted to thank the Winsmith in North Park, didn't we?
Oh, Franco is incredible over there at Winsmith. They're on Granada Avenue, and you can take your instrument right in there and practically get it fixed on the spot.
It's just a great gentleman, and he's right next to where Dave Page used to have his drum shop in North Park. So if you know a little bit about that, but he's been taking care of our instruments, many of which were used on this album. So we wanted to make sure to give him a big shout out and thank him for all of his care with all of our equipment. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, this album actually has had a very, very long gestation. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, it was delayed. The album is meant to promote not only San Diego's live music, but also San Diego's cartoon comic book artists as well. So this is a special cover done by Scott Shaw. You may know him from his work from breakfast cereal commercials, the Flintstones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this is a wonderful illustration of the animals at the San Diego Zoo partying at Wedgeforth Bowl. Check out that blue guitar, and the California Towers right in the background as well. One of the special things about this album is that it all started with a contest where we decided to choose one of the top performers in San Diego to be included to start the whole seed of this album. We had a contest on 91X's loudspeaker, and the winner, by a landslide, was Mr. Nathan Rainey. Nathan, come on over. Now, Nathan is going to be performing on September 30th at this free show alongside Tamar Berk, the Tourmaliners, and Evening's Empire. Additionally, he's going to be releasing his own album that night called Season of Serenity. Tell us a little bit about this album.
This album's been a long work in the running. I started recording this album almost immediately after the first album. I released my first album in 2017, and I got on stage and I told everybody, if you like what you hear, please support the band, and I'll take all that money and go right back into the studio and do another album. Excellent. And within a month and a half, I had enough money to go in and start this album.
Excellent. Now, do you have anything special planned for the show on the 30th?
Well, I did some limited edition t-shirts.
Okay. I
got some stickers. I'm going to probably... we're going to play the entire album start to finish.
Excellent.
So that's we've been practicing it, and with our new drummer, Gavin Glenn, it has been absolutely awesome.
Yeah. So. Now, how does it feel to have won your place in the thing, won the headlining spot? And of course, Nathan packs him in at venues anyway, so it's a natural headliner at the Casbah. So it's a perfect match there. How does it feel to be a part of all this?
I'm super excited. I was super excited when it first came out, when the competition, I saw the invite to do it. I immediately, I was on the internet. I was sending in all the submissions. I was there. Yeah. Like I wanted to be a part of this. And there's so much rich history in Staring at the Sun.
There's 46 bands on this, or solo performers as well, including some radio jingles from Manuel Scan, Mojo Nixon, Satanic Puppeteer Orchestra, and Pony Death Ride. There you go. What do you have coming up next after the show on the 30th? Anything new for us to listen to or look forward to?
Well, at this point, I am in the middle of recording album 3.
Okay.
Which is pretty close to being halfway done at this point.
Have a title yet?
I'd rather not share it yet.
Okay,
there is a title, and so far everybody that heard it goes, so far it's been pretty hot topic.
You know how the
with
press
all
is. We want to know everything in advance. It's
I
just,
know.
It's just the way we are.
When I have something physical to hand you, you'll be the first one to have it.
Excellent, my friend. Well, listen, Nathan Rainey headlining the show September 30th, Staring at the Sun, Volume 13. Do not miss it. He's going to be closing out the show. You want to get there early, though. You want to see all the performance. While I'm at it, I want to thank the sponsors of Staring at the Sun. No project is born in a vacuum. You need help from all sides. And I want to say that this would not be possible without the help from, in particular, Rock and Roll San Diego and local Umbrella Media. The other people that helped us out, just to mention everybody, Pacific Beat Recording, the Manhattan Bar in Chula Vista, Pacific Records, EnterTalk Media, Sustainable Pools, Queen Bee, Spar Customs, San Diego Dialed In, 91X, very, very important there, 91X loudspeaker, and Vespa Motorsport. So I want to thank all of them for helping support San Diego's local music community and helping the new Staring at the Sun exist. One of my favorite things about the Staring at the Sun compilations is that they're a great way to discover brand new bands. And this year, I mean, there's a lot of bands that I think are amazing, but one of my favorites is a band called Evening's Empire, which features guitarist Shannon Woods, who you may recall from iconic punk band The Dinettes. So Shannon, why don't you come over and say hello? Talking a little bit about this brand new album, Alive for Us. And yes, they're playing, Evening's Empire, are playing the show September 30th at the Casbah, a free show, and you get a free album. Keep mentioning that, right?
Yeah.
But your album is actually being released the day before, right? You have a CD release party at the Holding Company.
The Holding Company, absolutely.
In Ocean Beach.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
We start at 7:30.
Okay.
And we are playing with the Lost Monarchs, so it's going to be incredible. They got a great following. Their music is awesome. I have the privilege of seeing them rehearse on a daily basis for a while, working at Rock and Roll San Diego, and I can tell you it's going to be a fun show.
Actually, you know, that dovetails nicely.
Yes.
Let's hold this up right here. So again, Shannon works at Rock and Roll San Diego. It's a great location over by the sports arena if you need rehearsals or music lessons or renting gear or whatnot. She's usually at the front desk, but that's a musical format. So this is very, very cool. Thanks for bringing this in. And is this the new Evening's Empire? Might as well show that as well. We'll put that over there.
I don't like to go into somebody's house without a gift.
Okay.
This is like our little present to you, Bart, for doing so much for the scene in San Diego.
And this is awesome because I haven't done laundry yet this week, so this works out beautifully. Got any socks?
I do, actually.
Okay. Well, so are you going to have anything special planned for the show on the 30th?
Yes, we are going to have our first go at having a video screen. So that's going to be exciting for us. We also are introducing some new music, as well as the songs that are on the album that's going to be released.
Okay. Well, of course, hold it up. Now, you have a new single coming out, right?
Yes, Fall Behind is dropping on the 24th.
Okay, and is this it for recording for right now? Do you plan to tour? Things are starting to pick up again. Spice Pistols just did a really good national tour. So, I mean, are you guys planning to hit the road or do anything like that?
In a perfect world, we sure hope so.
Okay, well,
absolutely.
Let's hope the world gets back to perfect pretty soon. It's been a while. So, well, thank you so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it. And I want to also point out a couple of things that are related. You can hang out here for a second. A couple of things that are related as well. They're Staring at the Sun, sort of. So the first thing is that on October 9th, the original Starfires, who performed the song Fly Me Away on Staring at the Sun, are going to be performing at the Foodie Fest in El Cajon. Now, making this show extra special because the original Starfires feature Lori Beebe Lewis of the Mamas and Papas and the Buckinghams. That's rock royalty right there. But the headliner at this particular show is going to be Gary Puckett with his new version of the Union Gap. Gary, of course, is a musical legend, had numerous hits, Young Girl, Over You, etc., etc., etc. But more importantly, he's a native San Diegan, so it's great to welcome him back. October 9th, Foodie Fest in El Cajon. You don't want to miss it. And finally, in a little bit of self-serving news, I want to thank Pacific Records, one of the sponsors of Staring at the Sun, because they just signed me to my first solo debut EP, which will be out November 16th. It's called 66/68 with special artwork by Michael Buckmiller. You don't want to miss it. It's 4 covers of classic 60s songs. You're going to know all of them. You're going to love it, I hope. So pick up a copy if you get a chance. But in the meantime, do not miss the special album release show at the Casbah. 8 p.m., September 30th, Tamar Berk, Evening's Empire, Nathan Rainey. In the back Razzmatazz room, the Tourmaliners playing 2 party sets, okay? Free show, free album with 46 bands with artwork from Scott Shaw. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you there. Hello and welcome back to MusicSceneSD TV. I'm sitting here with Emily Bartell of Bar None Productions. Emily's involved with a lot of things in San Diego, from the San Diego Music Awards to booking shows at Humphreys, Navajo Live, etc. And she's a person to know if you want to be involved in the San Diego music community. She's also in charge of the San Diego music showcases that are coming up. I know she's doing one in particular herself at Navajo Live, which we'll talk about in a second. But can you give us a little details on the showcase gigs? These are in advance of the August 24th main event at Humphreys, Concerts by the Bay.
Right. We're starting our showcases on August 12th.
Okay.
And I believe the first one is at the Casbah, but there are going to be showcases at the Casbah, the Holding Company, the Poorhouse, Navajo Live, and I think I got them all.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think
I got
Casbah has
them all.
two.
Yeah, the Casbah is having two
Right.
showcases. And the showcase at Navajo Live that I'm hosting is on August 20th, and it starts at 6:30. I have a lineup of, should I name them all?
Go ahead. What the heck? We got a couple seconds here.
It's not going to be Dave Preston and the Grown-Ups, Julia Sage,
Wise Monkey Orchestra.
Wise Monkey Orchestra, Rose's Cantina, and Manzanita Blues, and Scott Matheson and the Honeycombs. S. Matthias.
And the Honeycombs.
S. Matthias and the Honeycombs.
Now, these shows are a great way to check out a lot of great original music in San Diego. And the funds raised goes to the San Diego Music Foundation, which brings music back to schools with the Guitars in Schools program. Taylor Guitars, right?
Yes.
Correct.
And
So
each venue will have a cover charge, and all the funding goes to the Guitars in
yeah,
Schools
so
program.
basically you're doing a good deed while getting to check out some great music. And speaking of great music, this dovetails nicely into our next musical guest, which is singer Tamar Berk, who put out one of my favorite albums this year, The Restless Dreams of Youth. Tamar, come on down. Hi, how are you doing? But it's nice to finally meet you after, chatting on Facebook, et cetera, for the last 3 or 4 months.
Yes, it is.
So you're originally from Chicago via Portland and a bunch of other places. Like, how did you end up in San Diego?
Well, actually, originally Cleveland,
Okay.
then Chicago,
Then Chicago, okay.
Portland, now San Diego.
Okay.
I ended up here because I was in many bands in Portland. I loved Portland, but the rain was kind of getting to me. It was like 8 months of just gray, and it was kind of getting me down a little bit. So I decided, well, if my husband could find a job in the sunshine,
Okay.
yeah, it was a big decision though, because we really liked Portland, but I was kind of thinking long term more. So,
Okay.
but
Now,
yeah,
you've been in a lot of bands over the years. I mean,
Yeah.
The Pinnacles. What's the one in Chicago?
Paradise, Pinnacles, Starball. I was in something called Deep Joy. It was a Small Faces cover band.
Oh, that's
of all
awesome.
Things. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what led you to this solo album?
Oh, my whole life led to that solo album. I've been writing songs forever, and most of the bands I've been in, at least Starball and most of the songs in Paradise, I was either a huge part in writing it or I wrote the song. So I have hundreds of songs written on 4-track demos that I started in the 90s, a Tascam little 4-track, and just hundreds of them, hundreds of cassette tapes. And I always said, one day I'm actually going to put a solo album out. But I think that being in a band, you tend to hide behind the name of the band.
Okay, yeah.
And I really was worried, could I do this? Could I put my name on something and be okay with it? Because once you do it, it's out there, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt like I came a long way as a musician, came a long way as an artist and a songwriter, and I was really liking the songs I was writing. So I felt really good about doing that. And then just kind of everything kind of came together. I knew what I wanted the title to be. I knew what I wanted the album cover to be, and it was just all happening. And it really all started with Shadow Clues, because that single was written in Portland, and it was so different from other things I had written. And I said, man, if I could keep writing this way. And as much as I love Starball and the pop stuff, those super fun, bubbly pop power pop.
Meditating.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I was really pleased with this kind of turn that I was taking, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try to like aim towards something one day. But this still took 3 years.
Wow.
Because it was a combination of finishing all these songs, finding old songs, then COVID, finding musicians to work with me over, because I have a home studio and working with them. I have a drummer in Chicago. His name is Matt Walker, who plays with Smashing Pumpkins and Garbage and Morrissey. And he was agreeing to play on it. So I was like, awesome. Everyone was at home.
Right.
Nobody was on tour. So it kind of worked out really, really well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, you've got some significant San Diego names involved on this album,
I do.
notably in particular, Chris Davies of the Penetrators. How
Yes.
did you hook up with him?
So what happened is when I moved here through the Pinnacles, which is the garage scene of San Diego,
Right.
we played here several times with the Loons and with Ron Silva's band, and that's a really strong scene here in San Diego.
Very much so, yes.
Right. So when I came out here, I knew Ron a bit, and he had posted something about the band Chloe, Lou, and the Liddells, and I was
Right.
like, oh, I know Ron. I'll go and say hello to him again. It had been so long since I've seen him. And so we sort of talked a little bit. And then he had called me to sit in for a couple of their shows. So when Dave Fleminger couldn't play keyboards, I sat in with them. And I love those guys. And so
Yeah.
I met Chris, and I met Ron, and met Chloe, and the drummer. There's been several drummers in the band. And so when I was starting to put this together and thinking in earnest about putting a record out, I really wanted to get some people in a room and work out some of the kinks, work out what you want the rhythms to be and the drums to be. So I said to Chris and Ron, would you guys want to come and hang out and work on some songs? And they said, yeah, we've got some time now. Things are slowing down a little bit. And then they called Danny.
Danny Kress from True Stories.
Yep. And we were kind of jamming out in the garage, working parts out. So they were really familiar with the songs. And then COVID.
Yeah.
But because Chris has his home studio, I was like, oh, good. He can at least send me his tracks. And he was familiar with the songs. So that was awesome because he is such a killer player.
He's a phenomenal player, very unique. His surf sound with reverb. I mean, nobody else does that.
Yes.
He's definitely a standout artist.
Yes.
Now, what plans do you have coming up? Are you going to tour? Are you going to play live shows? What's going on there?
Yeah, so I've been talking to a couple musicians here in town. We are actually going to get together on Sunday and kind of try 3 of these songs off the record. Ideally, I play this record, play it out, go and play LA, I don't know, up and down the coast, back to Portland, come back. That would be really awesome. But just meeting musicians first. Yeah. Well,
And we were talking about, I would love to have her do some stuff.
Oh, and the
as well.
songwriting. Yes. Yeah, the singer-songwriter. Yeah. So that would be ideal, and I'm already working on the next album.
Excellent. So how do you feel about your move to San Diego? I mean, how do you feel about being part of the music scene here now?
Well, it's so funny because I think that I don't know if I'm just lucky, but I end up meeting the nicest people right away, and the people who are friendly and open and sharing, and hey, I know this guy that will play a great lead guitar. Hey, I know this, and it happened when we moved to Portland, and it happened here. So I don't know if I'm just lucky. I don't know. I feel really blessed, and so far San Diego's been awesome. I just can't wait to play the clubs now because now that COVID's over, I can actually experience going out. The last show I saw, and then COVID hit, was Rocket from the Crypt at the House of Blues.
Oh, wow.
Which was so loud, but it was so fun, and it was Halloween. And
now that's a San Diego tradition you don't want to miss. That's if you ever get a chance, that's the time to go see Rocket from the Crypt.
Yes.
They're always great, but Halloween is just that much more great.
It was so awesome.
Yeah.
And I do remember that. I'm like, wow, this is such a great town. There's so many fun places to play. And then, so everything was kind of on hold for me discovering the city and discovering a bunch of bands. So I'm still learning, the clubs and the bands and the booking agents and all that stuff.
Well, let me say, we are so happy to have you here. That is definitely one of my favorite albums this year. Show it off, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Thank you so much for coming on today to
you're
Music Scene
welcome.
SD TV. Tamar Berk here is going to play a couple of songs off the new album in just a few seconds. Thank you so much for watching Music Scene SD TV. Hello and welcome to the Cool Stuff Corner on MusicSceneSD TV. Now each week we show off albums or gear or things that are related to San Diego music. And this time out we wanted to show off something of our own and wanted to point out that not only is MusicScene SD TV available to view, you can also read a copy. So this is in 38 newspapers around the city, and over 100,000 copies are delivered to homes throughout the county. So make sure to pick up a copy, and if you want to read about San Diego's music scene, this is where you do so. Now, you can pick up copies individually also at Rock and Roll San Diego in Point Loma. Michelle Palermo here, costume designer extraordinaire for groups such as the Spice Pistols, never fails to read a copy. True?
True.
Absolutely.
I also deliver them sometimes.
Yeah. You never know. If somebody drops off the bundle, it may very well be her dropping them off. So be sure to pick up a copy of Music Scene wherever you pick up your fine reading periodicals. You won't be disappointed.
Or where you buy records.
There you go. That's true. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Hello and welcome back to Music Scene SD TV. We're here with musical guest Tamar Berk, who's going to be playing a couple of songs from her incredible new album, The Restless Dreams of Youth. Listen in.
You know I never know what you're thinking. I can stare at you all evening, because all that you learned was a solid stare and a stiff upper lip and a handshake grip and a deadpan expression with a frigid touch, unresponsive to the needles that stab you so much. That stab you. You know I never know what you're feeling. Look for the shadow clues on the ceiling, because all that you learned was a solid stare and a stiff upper lip and a handshake grip and a deadpan expression with a frigid touch, unresponsive to the needles that stab you so much. You're thinking. I can stare at you all evening. You know I never know what you're feeling. Look for the shadow clues on the ceiling. Look for the shadow clues on the ceiling. Look for the shadow clues on the ceiling.
Tamar Berk, everybody, one of the best albums out this year. You need to pick up a copy. You're watching Music Scene SD TV. You've been listening to Tamar Berk. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.